Let's go to the next call. I think this is Anthony in Charleston.
Yo, what is up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte.
What's up, Anthony?
Just wanted to start out by saying, gonna start my own YouTube channel, man. Y'all inspired me a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be posting like videos on breaking news and stuff. I got myself a mic, and me and Greg have been conversing about potentially an NBA podcast, so that's gonna be great. But I want to appreciate y'all. You motivated me a lot with this networking and podcast stuff, and you all are the best Panthers podcast by far. So just wanted to thank y'all. And on to
appreciate you, man.
What's going on right now. So there's a press conference today. I'm pretty sure I didn't get to watch it, but I saw some clips from it. Reich and Caldwell talked a lot. I love the things Frank Reich was saying, man. Like, I think he has a real vision with this team, something that we've needed for years now, is that he said he wants sustained long-term success. And I really love that. I'm actually happy that I was wrong, because I had a feeling that David Tepper would put a lot of pressure on him to win now. And I feel like we can win now and build for the future. So I really like the fact that he wants to create long-term sustained success. That's how you keep your coaching job, by building a culture. So I really think that also says that we will be drafting a rookie quarterback this year, whether it's at pick 9 or trading up. As for Caldwell, he said he's not even looking to be a head coach. He wants to be here and help build this organization up, which I like a lot too. I think his experience is going to help us in the long run. He's been a head coach. I think his record overall is like 62-50. That's great. So, I think him and Reich are going to be really leading this offensive charge to change us around, modernize our football game. And yeah, man, I mean, I think I love what this coaching staff is doing. I can't wait for the new season, the draft. I mean, man, I haven't been this hype about the Panthers in a while. Well, I was actually hyped last year when I thought Baker Mayfield would be our next guy, but man, that was a terrible take that I will still eat crow for to this day. But yeah, give me your thoughts on, the press conference, the quarterback situation. Anthony from Charlotte, love the work y'all boys do. You already know. C3 for life. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Hey, shout out to Anthony, man. Fantastic call. And by the way, that was one of my goals, low-key, with the free-for-all, is to get people the courage to kind of start doing their own thing. It's fun. You have a good time doing it.
It took you a minute to do that.
Yeah, man.
Is getting out there and feeling comfortable in your skin is a big deal.
A lot of people feel like there's something special that we have to do. And hey, we're pretty good at what we do. You develop a flow. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you enjoy being a part of fascinating discussions when it comes to football, basketball, whatever, yeah, man, you might as well make your own content and make it known. And by the way, I always give everybody who comes on the free-for-all the opportunity to promote their own content, because I believe the rising tide lifts all boats. So
it's true.
Shout out to Anthony, man.
It's just true. And that's another thing I believe about my experience on the internet is like I'm rooting for everybody. I have a capitalistic mindset, not a old mercantilist where it's like, you have to occupy the market shares. That's I feel like an antiquated view of the world. Now, circling back though, I guess Greg, is Anthony helped me on what I meant by that, or what I meant by this kind of confidence, and it doesn't necessarily have to be equated in wins alone. I think maybe it's because I'm confident that this team, I'm ready to bet that under Frank Reich's tenure as the Carolina Panthers head coach, we will, for the first time in our team history, go back-to-back seasons at some point. Okay. With a winning season. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen this year and next year, but before he's fired, I feel confident. Like, I think the odds are, I really truly believe that we will, under his tenure, have our first back-to-back winning seasons. And I kind of just feel like this is like anything below 7 wins for Frank Reich is going to feel like a losing season. I mean, I know that is a losing season technically, but we would have been like, you're like, oh, well, we're building and you got to let this team. I almost feel like with almost any roster, Frank Reich is going to get us close to that 500 mark.
Do you know how whenever you're like driving somewhere and you don't know where you're going, it always seems like it takes so long to get there because you don't know where you're going. But when you know where you're going, you can actually go back the next day and you know where you're going. It seems like a shorter trip. I feel like that's the difference from where we're at. You're with Matt Rule and you're blindly following something. You have no idea where you're going, when you're going to get to your destination. So it feels like an eternity of just nothing.
Yeah. Is it
with
an
these
hour
guys,
away?
It feels like you have a path, you know? Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So does anybody in here, would you guys be willing to put money down on if that was an odds? Like, is that the Panthers before Frank Reich is fired or retires, whatever, before his departure, in ever what way, that the Panthers will at least have won back-to-back winning seasons? I'm comfortable placing that bet.
Yeah, based on the situation of where the NFC South is right now, then yeah, I'd say yes. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch.
Caldwell has had both of these guys are the first coach. Caldwell's the first coach to go 12 wins straight as a rookie. Now he did have Peyton Manning, right? But at the same time, these he had Detroit looking somewhat respectable. Yeah. I really feel like I'm feeling happy about this. We want to get your thoughts, guys. Would you be willing to bet on the Carolina Panthers getting their first back-to-back winning seasons under Frank Reich? That does not need to be right this moment. It doesn't need to be this year, next year, but could it be 23, 24, 25, 25, 26? I feel comfortable taking that bet. Maybe we should open up the odds, and maybe I should be the book on that. Oh, wait, we can't sports gamble in North Carolina. Never mind. Theoretically, if you're listening, government. Next call.
What's up, C3? This is P-Dubs. I'm calling in for the first time.
Hey.
I'm newer to the podcast, but I'm a native Charlottean and have been a huge Panther fan from day one.
Happy to have you, brother.
Call and say how much I love what you guys are doing. The community is incredible. It's great to hear all the passionate Panther fans out there and different opinions and views, even the ones I don't necessarily agree with.
Wonder who he's talking about.
It's been a blast. Listening to the podcast and really starting to get involved. A few quick thoughts. I was a huge Steve Wilkes guy. My heart hurt that he didn't get the job, but I understood the decision. I think we all understand that, the league is moving in an offensive direction, and Tepper made no bones that he wanted to hire an offensive mind. And I hate to say it, I know I'm going to get a bunch of shit from people, but we got to give Tepper credit. And you got to give him credit for, one, hiring Wilkes or promoting Wilkes to begin with and stabilizing what was just a complete cluster mid-season. And then two, I think you got to give him credit for hiring Frank Reich. And, we all know that Rat Mule was just a complete fiasco. I think Tepper recognized his mistake. He's just too awkward to admit it in a public forum, which is why his interviews or press conferences are always just a complete disaster. But I think we got to give him credit for the hire. I am fired up about this coming season, about the staff that Frank Reich has put together. We've got so many different options. From a personnel perspective, it's going to be fascinating to see what Fitz does in the draft. Are we going to get a quarterback? I don't know any more than you guys know, but it's fun to speculate about what might happen. I think free agency is going to be a huge part of it. And you know what? We're taking the NFC South next year. We're going to the playoffs, and we're hosting a playoff game. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. It's great.
Let's go, P-Dubs, man. Dude, for a first-time caller,
Epic.
That's how you do it, baby. That's a hell of a call. Shout out to P-Dubs, and thanks for being part of the community, man. As a matter of fact, CK, why don't you welcome that man with the golden pipes, man? Tell him thanks for being a C3 fan.
It was a P-Dubs?
P-dubs. Oh, yeah.
P-dubs. I want to welcome you to the C3 community. We have all been here. We've all been through the highs. We've been through the lows. But we're here to talk it out, enjoy each other's company, build this community, and be a part of each other's Panther fandom moving forward. And we just want to appreciate you for joining in on the conversation. Keep pounding.
Hey, shout out to P-dubs. But, hey, boys, you see what I said earlier? The optimism is running rampant through Panther fandom right now, man. People are believing that we've hired the best coaches for the job, the best men for the job. And even a public opinion on David Tepper has gone the complete opposite direction.
Has improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
This, though, and this I want to point out to the caller where I think was a great point, is that when he talked about Tepper admitting he was wrong and he may not have said it. I really feel like this actually is some restored confidence in myself a little bit in David Tepper, that he wasn't just a billionaire on tilt at this point. That's a poker terminology for when you get bad beat, you doing the right things, and you are just so emotionally that you swing back and forth. And for a moment, it really felt like Tepper was on tilt. And I want to say that this staff, that he didn't get seduced by the Sean Payton, that he didn't overreach. It really feels like what we thought was going to be so many of his strengths that he could bring from that kind of stock market mentality maybe are returning. Maybe he's getting his wits and senses back about him, to where I don't know. This really feels appropriate, I guess.
I think as a billionaire, a trait that you have to have is knowing when you've made a terrible mistake and when to move on from that mistake and cut your losses and move in the right direction. You know,
there's a fine line, Cody, though, when you're a billionaire, that you get into the point where you just believe your own hype. And you're right about that. You're 100% right, is that usually the people that succeed in life are the ones who can find ways to rein that in. But as we watch, like Elon Musk out there right now, there are moments where you have to realize too, like, have you had so much success where you don't think you can't listen to other people? You can't admit you're wrong. And this really felt like a correction for David Tepper, a correction for this organization, instead of, the opposite. In fact, let's go ahead and jump into the prize picks real quick. Let's not forget.
Real quick, Anthony donated with a $2 love bomb. He said, "This is the Panthers' time now. Keep pounding." Shout out to you, Anthony.
Don't forget, the C3 Panthers podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. It is your number one daily fantasy football sports website app, where you can play real money legally in North and South Carolina and more than 30 states. You can play daily fantasy football sports. Now, though, because there's not football, you can go to MMA, boxing, NBA, baseball's coming up.
Counter-Strike Go. Yeah, they even do esports, ladies and gentlemen.
And just as I guess as like kind of to segue what I was talking about, that tilt, that need to correct. I got to tell you this, is I'm on tilt. I have been on an epic losing streak on PrizePicks, right? And what I've done is when I won on PrizePicks, I did a lot of flex plays. I didn't shoot for the home runs. I just tried to hit doubles and singles, get on base, get a man over, get them in. But once I started losing, I felt like, I just need one big one, right? So if you want to hit singles, doubles, triples, or hit the big one, you go to PrizePicks and you don't do what I do. First of all, whatever I do the opposite. But you have to use the promo code C3 because you get a 100% deposit bonus. And right now, I got a little bit on these hockey players. I don't want to speak too quickly. Today is the 21st, right? 9:08. These games are in play. I went under on goals for both of these guys. I could use this one, but I went a little hard in the paint, guys. And what I'm saying is David Tepper had a big loss. He went out there and struck out in a big moment with Matt Rule. He got back up to the plate with Frank Reich, and instead of trying to swing for the fences, said, let me hit a double here. Get on base, bunt this man over with Jim Caldwell, and get a man over, get him in. And you can get a man over and get him in by going to PrizePicks and winning real money playing daily fantasy sports. I just got to say is like, I've just got to, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. We'll just talk about the pick that I made yesterday. And it goes, my entries. I put in $5. I didn't go for the sixer. See, that's where I've been going crazy. I'm like, oh, let me get this 4 and try to take this 20 and send me to 200. And I'm right back where I need to be. I need to just chip away one win at a time. So I took the less than on Austin Matthews forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid. If these guys don't score tonight, they don't score a goal. It's hard sometimes to score a goal in the NHL. I turned my $5 into $15. Get a man on, get a man over, get a man in playing daily fantasy football sports using the promo code C3 at PrizePicks, and they will match your first-time deposit of up to 100%. Cody Lack, you've had some success. My bastard son has had some success, and Drew is out there playing. He's playing fantasy video games. Imagine if you were sitting on the couch watching your friends play video games. This is what I think the irony of streamers is. People watch people play video games on the internet. Do you know how irritating it was as a kid to have to sit and watch your friends play video games and them not pass the controller? And now we do it and we pay them to do it. And now we're sitting there not gambling, but playing daily fantasy football sports on our friends playing video games in front of us.
Dude, crazy. I mean, literally any sport that you can think of, PrizePicks does it, man. So if you want to support the C3 Panthers podcast, best way to do it, hit up our sponsors, man. Use promo code C3 when you sign up.
Well, the coolest thing about it is you can mix sports. So I can do an MMA, I can do a basketball, I can do college basketball, I can do football, all in one bet. And now they have stuff out that today, I think Drew was showing me earlier. You can bet now for like the rest of the NBA season. Like you can bet this, or not bet, but put a wager that this guy's going to score 20 points at least 4 more times this season. And there's like 24 games left for most people. Like they do all kinds of crazy things. Second half betting, first half betting, first quarter betting. It's pretty insane.
It's fun. PrizePicks, I got to tell you this, is so many people have signed up using the promo code C3. So many people message me. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy Trey I met this weekend. I was hanging out at a local watering hole. My man comes up to me, goes, I listen to the podcast all the time. So Trey from Plymouth, North Carolina, now living in Greenville, I believe, and I think he lives here in Greenville. Thanks for listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. You know what I asked him? One of the things I asked him is, what do you think? Is it too long? You know, what do you think about the super long? He said, bro, like I listen to it at work. He's like, the more and the longer, the better for me. So it's always nice when you get he came up to me. He's like, I know you, dude. I love what you do. It was just great hanging out and meeting people like P-Dub said, that community.